Volume's on.
Yes, sir.
Holy Jesus. I mean, Moses parted the Red Sea and Michael Jackson moonwalked across concrete. And you think God ain't got me? How you doing, my brother?
I'm all right.
Yeah, this is the blooper session. The blooper duper. Ready?
Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby.
Welcome back to the Friday night Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun, baby. It's the weekend, baby. Man, I hope everybody's having a beautiful week. I swear 18 people then told me today, man, it's cold outside. I remember before I got sober and saved, and I was coming down off of drugs, and I was walking around here, and I was freezing to death. So every time somebody tells me that it's cold outside, I tell them toughen up. But it's a great day to be alive, sober, joyous, and free, baby. Uh, Shout out to Tied for Second Sober Living. New Freedom Center beds are available. Just call 701-527-4000. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by J Dobo, your leading spice in the land. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoning, baby. Also, all my prayer and love goes out to all the family members that lost someone in the tragedy on New Year's Eve in New Orleans, my hometown. Um, it's sad, but it's reality. So my heart goes out to the families and everyone that was affected by that. Keep the peace. Um, Shout out to the House of Fame. Shout out to Perry Recovery Center. Shout out to all the supporters of Sober Talk, Treasures of the Sea and Earth. Shout out to the 5 second rule bracelet, Miss Pam. Shout out to Iron Horse Inc. Shout out to NDSP, all the people behind the walls and the people that directed and worked there. I had the opportunity to go to a couple of hip hop and hope events there. I had the opportunity to go there every week with Evangel Church, and also I have the opportunity to host my own event there um, at the end of this month. Also, we're doing an event at the women's prison in New England in February. That'd be great. If any beauticians out there or barbers or anyone that would like to volunteer their time to come cut some inmates' hair, some women, while they listen to speakers and just let them have a day of feeling free and let them know that if they're still alive, God ain't done with them yet. Um, but shout out to Relevant Life Church in Fargo, North Dakota. Shout out to Hip Hop and Hope. Shout out to Serenity Bridge Sober Living right here. Men's houses right here in Bismarck, North Dakota, giving people second chances. Shout out to Blessed Builders, the Sanctuary in Minot, North Dakota. And always got to give a shout out to Hope Manor Sober Living. Um, I'm alumni. I'm also alumni of New Freedom Center. Shout out to New Freedom Center. And shout out to Heartview. I happen to have the blessed time to go speak there once a month to the people that's in treatment and to let them know how uh, how I changed, especially in the early stage of sobriety. So shout out to Tied for Second Sober Living and New Freedom Center. Well, I got a special guest in the house tonight. My boy T Cuz. Little Sean the rapper. Real. I don't know if he's my daddy, my uncle, or my little brother. He's like one and all, you know what I mean? How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Fabuloso, like the stuff you buy from Family Dollar. How's your day going? You had a good day today?
Yeah, my day was all right.
Yeah. That's some nice threads you got on. What that is? Imported? Man, that's fly.
My my better half and the love of my life made this for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Man, that's beautiful. And I heard she could do some good work.
yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And I want to thank y'all for the ribbon shirt y'all made for me. But now y'all done got me started. I got all kind of ideas. You know what I mean? We're gonna have the ribbon shirts. We might even come out with some ribbon headbands or something. You know what I mean? Just let them have. Shout out to Native Ink. Native Ink will be partnering with Sober Talk coming to the event at the prison. I think it'll be a great thing. Um, Sean, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from. Well, I was born in Munster, Indiana, but
Mustard?
Munster,
Oh, like the
Indiana.
Munsters.
Yeah, it's up by Gary Hammond, Highlands, that area.
Okay.
When I was about 3 years old, things didn't work out between my mom and dad.
Right.
Obviously, I was too young at that time to remember what was going on or to fully understand what was taking place. And I guess one day my mom decided to take me and run off to Florida with her parents,
How
who
old you
were,
was a baby?
yeah, I was 3 years old. Parents were already down there. Actually, I think I was about 5 when that happened.
Okay.
And so
To Florida,
yeah, when we got to
the
Florida,
Sunshine State,
yeah, I'm from Lakeland, Florida,
Lakeland.
Polk County.
We got South Orlando.
It's a little bit west of Orlando.
Okay.
No, yeah. So I'm kind of almost midway between Tampa and Orlando.
Okay. A lot of Silver. What? You ever been to Silver Springs?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Yeah, we went there just past summer. My mom lives in Ormond Beach. Shout
Okay.
out to everybody watching from Florida, Ormond Beach, wherever y'all at in the area, right there by Daytona.
Yeah.
So I get to go to Florida a lot.
Okay.
Yep, I seen a wanted picture outside on a telephone pole. It had your picture on it. It said T Cuz. How long have you been sober and saved, brother?
um, my sobriety started August 1st of this year.
Okay.
I say August 1st because I went to Hartview on July 31st. But of course, like everyone else, they try to have that one last run in them.
Yeah.
And so I got high the morning that I went to Hartview. So I say the following day. That's why I say August 1st.
Right. So that's a great day. August is a great month. You know what I mean? I was born in August. And my son's name August.
My mom was born in August.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, August 27th.
Was she a Virgo? Because mine the 25th. You know how many birthdays I spent in the dark because a hurricane was passing? You ever notice hurricanes always hit hard in Louisiana the last week of August?
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Look when Katrina hit. Look at all the dates of all the major, a lot of the hurricanes. It's always at the end of August. That's that's what I was born. I was a hurricane. Well, is this your first time getting sober? Or you tried
Um,
it a few times? Or
I mean, other times were different. Like I would say that I was sober, but I really wasn't sober.
right.
And what I mean by that is like, um, I wouldn't be doing meth, but I would still be smoking weed or
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
And to me, in my mind at that time, if I wasn't doing meth, then I'm doing good.
Yeah.
But in reality, I was just opening doors that were going to lead back to it.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because me in my experience, like they got people that dose methadone or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm no expert and you can say what you want to say, but I've sponsored many men in the last 7 years. I mean, I've really like got to know a lot of people. And from my experience, people that don't get all the way totally sober, like squeaky sober, they don't have that spiritual experience that the people that do have. You know what I mean?
And see, that's part of the reason why I decided not to take medication.
Yeah.
Um, when I first went to Hartview, they sent me to UND, and the doctor tried to put me on some anxiety meds and meds that help me with my sleeping
Mm.
because I had been running so long, like, you know, up for weeks at a time or days at a time. I slept here and there, and then I'd be right back at it again.
Mm.
And so my sleep pattern was messed up, and then I was having problems actually sleeping, even though I was sober,
Right.
you know. But there was a guy, I can't remember his name. He told a story on here where
He
he,
came on this show?
yeah, he also told the same story at Hartview. I forget his name, man.
Scott.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
I was inspired.
Gotta love Scott.
I was
I,
inspired.
I like that dude.
I was inspired by a story about not taking the medication. And so by the time Hartview got my meds, I refused it.
Right.
So I've done it with nothing other than cigarettes and caffeine, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Caffeine. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never drunk someone's coffee in the last 7 years, but I'm a coffee connoisseur.
And when you asked me about getting saved, back in 2021, it's kind of crazy how it all transpired. Um, prior to going to jail at that time in Florida, I I had this feeling, or I thought I seen visions. It may have been drug induced. I don't know.
Right.
Me doing music for Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was telling my friends, then of course with everything that was going on, they all thought I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going to jail, and I got put in the faith-based dorm. And I was general population, but I was in a program dorm. So the
Mm-hmm.
program, I had the opportunity to join the program, even though I didn't sign up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going to become a trustee, I decided to sign up for the faith-based program and try something different. While I was in jail, I got saved and baptized
Mm-hmm.
in jail.
Here?
No, in Florida.
Okay.
And
In jail?
yeah, Polk County Jail in Florida.
How long you was in there?
I ended up going to prison.
Okay.
When I went to prison,
That your first time going to prison?
no,
Okay.
I've been to prison 7 times.
Okay.
I've been 5 in state prison in Florida and twice to the feds.
In Florida?
Yeah, well, I started in Florida in the feds, but I've been all around. I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Terre Haute, Indiana. I've been to Atlanta, USP. I've been to Marietta, Florida,
Okay.
and a couple FDCs.
Okay.
But the last prison bid, I went to Washington Correctional Institution in Florida. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the most violent prisons in Florida. Um, prior to me getting saved, I was a gang member.
Okay.
Um, so when I went to prison, there were people in prison who had already known me.
Mm-hmm.
I made the conscious decision to walk away from the gang to follow Jesus, and that's where a lot of my faith comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people make decisions like that, it normally doesn't turn out good, especially in places like I was at, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And but he protected me, kept me safe. Nothing ever happened to me. He
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to walk away, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I was doing productive things, and I walked away doing something that a lot of people frown on in prison because they look at people that turn to religion in prison as a way of hiding from whoever they are or whatever they did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that case, man. It just uh God was working on my heart, you know, breaking me down. Finally, for the first time in my life, I started to change.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, when I got out of prison, I relapsed because while I was in prison, nobody told me. Growing up, my best friend caught a life sentence at a young age. He was 18. And when he caught life, his sister and me got close.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're more like a brother and sister to me. We all, you know, we drank out the same sippy cups. We ran, played in the sandlot together, did everything together, as
Mm-hmm.
kids. And while I was in prison, somebody gave her some dope that had whatever it had in it because it took her life, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And when I found out, it really, it really, it really messed me up, you know?
Mhm. Who was this? Oh, a good friend of yours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it hurt real bad. She's like a sister to me.
Right.
And I relapsed, and it just kept continuing to spiral further and further out of
While you was
control.
in prison.
No, I relapsed once I got out of prison.
Okay.
In fact, I actually went to New Orleans first and was in a program there, and I left the
What was the
program.
name of it?
Bethel Colony South,
Okay. It
and
was
it's
like a nonprofit or something that like a
uh,
halfway house?
yeah, it's a Christian-based drug treatment program, but it's not state funded.
Okay. It's privately funded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I end up leaving there and coming back up here.
Hmm.
Um, at the time, my best friend was up here. I didn't know what else to really do.
Hmm.
I left New Orleans. I didn't want to go back home. I didn't really have nowhere else to go, so I came up here and I fell right back into the BS with the drugs and meth, and then I started drinking.
Hmm.
Never really been a big drinker until recently,
Hmm.
you know.
How'd you get up here?
Greyhound.
I mean, what made you come up here?
My best friend was up here.
Okay.
Well, I lived up here before.
In North Dakota?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I lived up here
Well,
a bit.
let's dial it back a few.
All right.
How old were you when you first remember trying drugs and alcohol?
First time I ever smoked pot, I was like probably around 13.
Okay.
And I grew up around it. My mom and my stepdad smoked. They drank too. And I stole some weed from my mom.
Hmm.
And after Saturday detention at middle school,
Hmm.
I decided to go to a buddy of mine's house, and we didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
I would break it up, just watching mom cut it up with some scissors, put it in the rolling paper, and just rolled it like this
Yeah.
and smoked it. That was the first time I got stoned. I felt like I was in a video game. I had one of those little foot scooters, not like
Hmm.
the ones that they ride today, but the ones with the actual tires.
Yeah.
And I was riding
I
down the
know
road,
some with the big break.
yeah, all in and out of
Yeah.
traffic,
I bust one of my front teeth out on one of those.
shooting people birds, and
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was actually in reality.
Did you graduate high school?
No, I ended up dropping out when I was 16. However, when I went to state prison the first time, I did get my GED,
Okay. How old were you the first time?
18,
Okay.
and I was
Were you still just smoking weed at that time?
no, by then I was doing meth. I first started doing meth when I was 17.
Okay. And how like it came about? Like somebody just threw it up on you, you was drunk, you woke up with a pipe in your head? Like how was it?
A girl that I was seeing, and a buddy of mine had been doing it. But she was like, back then they didn't have bubbles.
Hmm.
They had just a straight,
Yeah, like a crack pipe.
yeah, straight piece
Yeah, with the
too.
little flower in it.
And it was bathtub dope crank.
Hmm.
And she was like, "Let me blow you a shotgun," because I was tired. And
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay." And she blew me a shotgun, and then I was like, down."
Yeah.
And I spazzed out on everybody real bad. Went on one of my long walks.
Hmm. Well, yeah. That boy stopped walking like Forrest. He was in Cuba.
Yeah. I literally walked from Winter Haven to Lakeland.
How far is that?
Uh, Shoot, I don't know. It's probably 8, 9 hour walk.
Just walking in the rain.
Yeah. Just messed up, high geeking, arguing that people thought people were trying to attack me,
Do
stuff
you
like that.
do you think meth is the devil?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially after everything I've been through.
Right. Um, First time in prison. How long did you do?
30 months.
If you had to add up all your times in prison, federal, state, all that, how many years?
I've served 23, almost 24 years of my life behind bars.
Okay. Um.
And it even stemmed back further than that. I was in a juvenile, uh, what they call a juvenile program, but it was like a juvenile prison, basically.
Right.
You know,
Um. The last time you went to prison was when you finally started to want to change, or like the first time you went, it was just like you took
it
a
was
program.
gladiator school. I came home. I was worse than I was before I went to prison.
Hmm.
I was trying to fight everybody, every corner I turned.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. It made me worse.
Yeah. Um. You ever got into that drug in Florida called Flocka?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I've never tried it. When all of that was going on, I was incarcerated in
Right.
federal prison.
It's kind of like, well, when I was growing up, they had dipsticks like embalming fluid. They'd dip a cigarette in, they
Yeah,
smoke
yeah.
it up, and then next thing you know, they butt naked diving into the concrete, talking about this water, busting on their motor. And the things that I've saw and heard about that drug in Florida, particularly, it's kind of like the same effects. You know what I mean? People be just wigging out and seeing stuff and
Yeah, going
they're
crazy.
losing their mind.
Yeah.
No, and so, um, but it's some I've never heard of it anywhere else except in Florida. So I don't know if it's like it grows in the trees or it comes in the water or what.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I believe that I may have seen some at one point, but I don't know if
So
it was.
basically, through your trials and tribulations, meth was your drug of choice,
Yeah.
your thing. Were you getting high in prison or in jail?
I have. I didn't really like it because, with the paranoia that comes with it, like you would think, I'm in an open bay dorm with, say, I don't know, 150 people, and you're all sleeping in bunks next to each other. You know, of course, when there's meth involved, there's going to be chaos.
Right.
What you looking at me for? Why you staring at me? But we
Yeah.
all got to live together in this tiny, compact room.
Right. Um. So basically, every time you were in prison, you were sober.
For the most part. There were times when I was smoking K2 real bad
Yeah.
in
That'll have you
prison.
wigging out too.
Yeah. Anytime that marijuana would hit the compound or, reefer, I'd smoke weed.
Yeah.
Even though they call it 6180 in Florida because it's 60 days in the hole, 180 days loss of game time if you piss dirty.
Hmm.
But I still would smoke.
Right. Um. You ever like had the thing in your mind like, when I get out, I'm just gonna stay sober. I'm just gonna smoke cigarettes and drink instant coffee or something. Like you already did you have that in your mind? Like, and then like somewhere your plan switched, or like as soon as you got out, like you went straight back to the
The first couple of times I went to prison and got out, I ran right back to it. There was a time when I got out of the feds the first time that I did it, and I actually stayed sober for the majority of the time that I was out that time. Um, I got into blues then
hmm.
and taking Roxy's back before they
Yep.
were fentanyl, you
Yep.
know.
Pill mills.
Yeah. And
Yep.
when I got caught up in the middle of all that, I actually went to prison for trafficking in Oxycodone.
Yep. That's when you went to the feds.
No, I went to state prison for that one.
And how long you went that time?
Uh, 42 months.
Okay. Months getting longer, huh?
Yeah. I sat 17 months in the county jail fighting the case though.
Yeah.
With
Still lost?
yeah, with a paid attorney. I sold to undercover. They had my DNA. And how that all transpired, I had a baggie of weed that I sold to the undercover to start with.
Mhm.
And I licked the baggie and gave it to them. They swabbed it and got my DNA off of it.
Yeah, that's how they got you, huh?
Yeah, that's how they positively identified me.
Yeah. Well,
But they had no marked money, no video, no audio, no nothing. Just that and the TI,
yeah.
who was a friend of mine that ate at the table with me. And he turned me in.
For life learning lessons, huh?
Yeah.
Um, Did you ever hold a job?
Not, I never really had a job until the last time I was up here. And that was the first time I ever really had a job. And I actually worked there for over a year before things got chaotic.
Yep, that's when the meth got involved, huh?
Well, it was already involved. I called myself a functioning addict there for a while.
Yeah, get the thing
And,
started, huh?
but then eventually, it always shows bad. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I started thinking people were talking to me at the job,
Mm-hmm.
calling me names. I'm trying to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's got chaotic. So I ended up getting fired.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. It's all good. You ain't the only one. For real. If you ain't lost a couple jobs when you was using, you're lying. You know what I mean? I used to get high. I mean, I can laugh at this now. It's real sad because, but the stupid stuff we did when we was out there doing whatever we was doing, I used to get high and stay up all night and fill out like 50 applications online. I'm talking about I got a resume. I mean, I'm doing interviews on the phone. I'm going do interviews, getting a job, and then finally after 4 days of like 20 jobs or 50 jobs, I finally go to sleep and I don't show up for none of them.
It was crazy to me is right, like since I've been clean, I have more energy now than I did when I was doing the dope.
Right.
Like I go to work,
I have more fun.
I work hard, and no matter what the job is, whether I like it or not, I still go and do what I'm supposed to, and I get a good report for the employer that sends me wherever they send me to go work at. And like, but before, like, I'd get high to go to work, and I'd be there a couple hours, and then I'd be like, "Oh man, I ain't doing this."
Hmm.
I get exhausted, and I don't know. I just got a peak of what do you call it? Energy now.
Hmm.
Like I have to wear myself out. She knows that I can't sit around the house.
Yeah, you're ADD.
I can't sit around the house. I have to move and do something during the day. If not, I'll be staring at the ceiling at night.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I got to do something. You know what I mean? Actually, I got to do about 13 things. Yeah. I mean, just be asking them like, man, how do you do it? You know what I mean? Like, how do you keep up with all? Because people see all the stuff that I do is it's my purpose. It's God. It's creative. You know what I mean? Like my second chance in life was to do all these things that I'm doing. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's not about control. It's about giving back to the universe instead of taking from the universe. And so once I learned that, I mean, I just run with the flow. You know what I mean? And you got any kids
Um,
that you know of?
no,
You know?
not yet.
You ever been a stepdaddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? I had my own experience doing that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I
it
had a
was
kid, I had a little bad kid tell me, "You ain't my daddy." I said, "Oh no."
but at the time that I was, the child was young, so
Yeah,
she was only 16 months, so it wasn't like I was having to deal with them problems yet.
yeah. Well, that's good, brother. You know what I mean? Like at least it was just you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got any brothers and sisters or sisters?
No. Well, I have two half sisters that I don't know.
Yep, I got two half brothers that I don't really know.
I don't know them at all.
Yeah, I met one of them a couple years ago.
I've never met either one of them. One of them's older than me and one's younger than me. That's all I really know.
Yeah, you know their names and stuff.
Um, my dad gave me their names at one point. I don't know where or what I did with them.
Right. Well, I remember I took a when I first got sober, I made some goals. I was like, "Well, meet my dad is dead." You know what I mean? Like I ain't never met my dad, and so I had to figure a lot of stuff out on my own too. And but I know he died from a drunk driving accident when I was 12. But I know that he had, I never really knew any of his family and stuff. So I went on at the library here in Bismarck. They had a free class. You could sign up for. It was like the ancestry.com thing, and so I went. and took it and then started typing in his name, and it just started showing me all the family members. It showed me his tombstone, all that, and so I just started reaching out. And on a whim, I was like, man, blah blah blah, and they were like, oh, we've been waiting to hear from you, and so it had to be 3 years ago. Yeah, about 3 years ago, I flew to New Orleans strictly to go meet them and spent Thanksgiving with them. And I got a big old family. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was. But I would have never did that if I wouldn't have got sober. You know what I mean? Like, cause I was down there for 10 years after the military, and it was like I never even I wasn't even worried about none of that. I had my own demons. You know, you know what I mean? It was like no matter where I started my day off when I lived in New Orleans, I always end up on Bourbon Street at the end of the night. For real. Next thing you know, the sun coming up. People like cockroaches trying to go find a little bar to go hide in the dark light. You know, it's no matter where I ended up, I always ended up on that road. You know what I mean?
Sound like me. No
Yeah.
matter where I did, no matter how I started my day off, I end up somehow down by Ross Reservation.
Yeah. 26 and Rouser. That's the cockroaches is gangsters. And the crabs. And the bed bugs. But I'm glad we don't have to live like that no more.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know what I mean? Like uh I'm very thankful of everything that North Dakota has done for me.
And it's only been what 5 months, 6 days,
Yeah.
and like it has been like so like from day to night.
Uh-huh.
God has done so many things for me and has blessed me with so much. You know, since I got clean and got sober and went to treatment, like we were just living in a storage unit,
Hmm.
freezing our butts off out in the cold, like it's just
Hmm.
like it's not cold,
Right.
you know? And just, I mean, I would sleep on park benches. I fell asleep one time on the bench, down by the mall,
Hmm.
um, between the mall and the event center.
Yep.
And somehow, I guess, I left all my stuff there and my BMX bike there. And when I came to, I was walking down by Holiday gas station. Like, where's my stuff? It was like 3 a.m. I
Right.
run back down there because that's the last place I remember being. And everything, my phone charger, it's on the bench, on the ground, just
Right.
laid out everywhere. And I'm just like, I look back now and I'm just like, man, thank God I ain't got to go through none of that no more.
Right.
You know, I went from that to now. I got a roof over my head. Somebody from Celebrate Recovery took me in when I had my mishap in Washburn with Seeds of Eden.
Right.
Um, I got thrown out of sober living for arguing with somebody, but I didn't give up. I didn't give in. I
Right.
didn't just say F it and go right back
Yeah.
to doing
I condone you
the
for that.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like I've seen so many other people leave that place and like they'll hit me up on the phone and I'll be like, "What's up?" And like when I'm working or I know where work's at, I might want to try to help them, but I'm like, "Are you sober?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to be around them,"
Right.
you
It gives
know.
me like if somebody's high or drunk around me, it kind of gives me anxiety. You know what I mean? I mean, especially if it's like bad. You know what I mean? Like I don't, I just don't even, especially high. You know what I mean? Like I remember the first time I was in a meeting, I was at Serenity Place. Not the first time in a meeting, but I was like a year and a half sober, and this dude I know he was sober. Like he was going to the meeting, but he showed up high as a kite, and he like took his shirt off, and he was ad libbing everybody. He was like clapping like a seal. He was tripping, but it made it made my stomach turn. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to ever go through that again. I don't want to ever feel like that again. I don't want to feel that pain and everything that comes along with that. You know what I mean? I got too many blessings, and because people be like, "Man, I don't know how you stay sober so long, or this and that," because I got too many blessings. Like my whole life, I would get a blessing, and then it would just burn out and
Yeah,
run.
me
You
too.
know what I mean?
Me too.
And then I would just feel all that. You know what I mean? Like I did it again, and that emptiness feeling. You know what I mean? And so I know. that if I put alcohol, ethylene alcohol in my body, or I put them substances back in my body, just one drop, I'm gonna lose everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I see people and like some of them. Like there's maybe like 3 or 4 of us that went through treatment together that are still sober. But
Mhm.
like there were people using in there, and I turned down temptation. Um, we were walking or driving with some friends of ours. Uh, 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 maybe a week or so ago,
Mhm.
and one of them asked us, do y'all smoke? And I was like, what? They were like, dope. And I was like, no,
Mhm.
you know. Um, I don't like being around it. I try to stay. I mean, like I'm around some of the same people all the time because I see them in passing in the neighborhood. The
Yeah.
difference is now is I have somewhere where I can go that they don't know where I'm at.
Right.
All right, they can't come knock on my door. Hey man, what are
Mhm.
you doing? Nothing like
Right.
that. If I see something sketchy, I get up and leave,
Right.
because I don't want to go back to that. Um, one of those thoughts or things that you use as a tool, like in your brain, to
Mhm.
try to keep you from going back to that, is I always remember this time when me and a friend of mine, Cheyenne, was going to they had the carnival in Bismarck
Mhm.
and they were tearing it down and we were going there to try to work. But when we got there, I looked at Cheyenne, I said, listen, I'm not trying to work. I'm going to DRC to take a shower because I feel dirty. I have never felt that nasty and dirty in my life,
Right.
and that's something that I hold on to remind myself, like, dude, you don't want to go back to this.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be sleeping in rent pots and going out to Sibley to shower and falling asleep out there on the park bench and get ate up by mosquitoes all night. And then here comes 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm still swatting at mosquitoes that been gone.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I remember I'd be so paranoid that I would be trying to take a shower, but I'd be like, in the shower, I don't the shower, I'm gonna do. And thinking the probation officer about to come. And it was just miserable. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I remember that's one thing I never forget. I'm walking around Bismarck, I'm freezing, right? I'm coming down. I got warrants. Uh I'm lost. You know what I mean? And I finally like, cause it's hard to make a friend in a blizzard. You know what I mean? It's not like down south. You can't just be like, "Hey, how y'all doing? What you want to throw the frisbee? I'm coming over, Jello shots." You know what I mean? It ain't like that. You gotta have a plan in a blizzard. You know what I mean? And so like I finally like meet somebody, a chick or something, and she'd be like, "Yeah, you come to my place." I'm like, thank you, God. You know what I mean? I got somewhere to go hang out, and then we be kicking it, and everything going off, and I took my shoes off, and my socks would be hard from not, you know what I mean, from just walking around home.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Man, your feet is sticking," and he kicked me out because my feet stunk too bad, and I'll never forget that. I was like. I remember I started crying. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, I can't be living like this. You know what I mean? And she was the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean? And I was like, she kicked me off because my feet stunk. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I need to get my life together.
Or walking around in the rain all night to where your shoes are just slush, slush, slush,
Yeah,
slush.
that's you on them long 9-hour walks. You know what I mean? The soggy bottom was. But the first day of sobriety, so you went to treatment.
Yeah.
How did you even like find out about treatment?
Okay,
Or how
so
did you get into treatment? Did you have
uh
Medicaid or
n- not at the time. What happened was found myself in jail and I didn't know how I got there. And because I got picked up, I was intoxicated. What I was doing was I was drinking to come down off of meth and I blacked out. I ended up in jail and I missed a court date because I guess during the time that I was blacked out, I was supposed to have court that morning
yeah?
and then go. So they gave me an FTA after releasing me from the drunk tank
Hmm.
and they helped me through the weekend. while I sat in jail over the weekend, I was like, man, I've had enough of this stuff. Like, I'm over it. I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of finding myself in jail like this. And it wasn't just that time. That was like the sixth time that that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to court on another unrelated case.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went in front of the judge, as soon as they called my name, I just looked at him and said, ma'am, I need help. I'm a meth addict. At that point is when I felt like my step one kicked in. That's when it wasn't just about admitting it to myself. It was about admitting it to somebody of authority and taking a chance with them with trying to reach out and ask for help. It was my cry for help. And I told her I was a meth addict. I wanted help. I need treatment. I don't know how to get off the streets, blah, blah, blah. And they put me on probation. Probation qualified me for a program called Free Through Recovery. I
Okay.
didn't know.
Right.
Um, a friend of mine who works at Native Ink, Jasmine,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, one day she told me, she said, well, when you're ready, come let me know and I'll get you signed into some kind of program somewhere.
Right.
And after I got out of jail, I walked in there and I told Jasmine, I said, I'm ready. And she said, are you serious? And I said, I'm dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
She took me in her office and she signed me up for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like any program you could think of. These people have still been calling me about stuff that I qualified for, but I'm not going to get involved in it because I already have a care coordinator over here and stuff going on over here.
Right. And this is
Well,
at Native Ink.
yeah, she
Right here
signed
in
me up.
Baltimore.
She signed me up for free to recovery. Like literally like the next day. Like how it played out was crazy. I go to the cop shop about my stuff, about my bike that somebody stole while I was intoxicated. The police tell me that I can't file a police report saying that it's stolen because I was intoxicated. How do he said, how do I know if you didn't loan it to somebody? I was so aggravated and so mad and had so much anger at that time. I wanted to punch the dude, to be honest,
Right.
but I didn't. And I got on my bike and I was so pissed that I had tears in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And on the ride on the bike to Sibley Park to go shower, I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked God to please take this anger from me, to please intercede in my life, to please do something to change this thought, take it away from me, help me with this problem. The very next day, the people from Seed to Eden flew up on me outside of uh, ministry
Mm-hmm.
and was like, hey, you qualified through recovery for a care coordinator. This is your care coordinator, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a sober living house. I said, dude, do I look sober? And then he was like, well, we can get you into treatment. And that's how all of that transpired. I ended up going and doing an eval for Heartview. Heartview took me. I was supposed to go to Can Do, but because of prior health issues with blood clots, they decided to put me on 23rd. I didn't really want to go to 23rd at first.
Right. Too close to the chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I live right there.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, man. I'm really grateful for that place. I love everybody that works there.
Mm-hmm.
I really had the wrong conception of them. I didn't, because my first eval went sour. I ended up in handcuffs because I fell asleep. I went there sober
Right.
and tried to be respectful to everybody else at Hartview
Mm-hmm.
and decided to try to do it sober. Well, I fell asleep while I was unresponsive for 10 minutes. They were hitting on my chest. Little did I know, though, that when they took urine from me, I tested positive for opiates. So they thought that I was
Overdose.
overdosing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't because I didn't, I don't do opiates. I didn't know that I had been doing opiates. So they felt like I was overdosing, so they hit 911. They called the EMTs. I woke up to police in my face, and that's when I went, man, F you, get out my face. I don't want nothing to do with this place. Forget all of this. I'm done. I told you I was going to be tired, and I walked off. They put me in handcuffs to start with, almost took me to jail, and then let me go. And good thing they didn't search me because I had dope on me. But I was at least trying to be sober out of respect for everybody there. And probably a week later, I called my care coordinator back up and I was like, look, I'm ready to go do that eval, because I was really tired of it. I
Right.
was really tired of it. When I got the heart view, they said that my skin was probably as gray as this shirt.
Yeah.
And so it probably saved my life,
Hmm.
you know. And despite everything else, like, don't get me wrong, there's been times where I've wanted to go drink
Hmm.
or had the urge to, but I've got good mental support around me through people and friends, and especially my girlfriend, that when I get in have those thoughts, I'm open with it.
Hmm.
And, she'll basically tell me, well, if you want to go drink, then let's say goodbye now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to drink then.
Right.
But I've been blessed, with people around me having the right God's opened the right doors at the right time with the right people, even if I haven't asked for it,
Right.
by making the next right decision.
Hmm.
I went to CR from Washburn because I got thrown out. I was hysterical. I didn't know what was going to happen to me.
Right.
I was thinking about saying, F it, I got $400 in my pocket. I'll just go get that pack and road run again.
Yeah.
Instead, I decided to go to CR. When I was telling Jasmine, it's crazy. I was telling Jasmine then about what just happened. And one of the drummers from CR was like, hey, I got an extra room in my basement. You and
Huh.
your girlfriend could come stay with me.
Right.
By making the decision to stay sober, God opened that door for me.
It
I mean,
always,
really,
it always
yeah.
happens.
It's like I got my job through capital construction without even actually looking for a job. I
Right.
was at the post office trying to intercept a package,
Mhm.
and a lady overheard me talking to a friend of mine on the phone about what happened to me in Washburn. And she was like, hey, my son and my husband, or my husband and his father own a no, it was yeah, it was my husband and son own a asphalt company. Would you like to come work? And I was like, absolutely. And I was working with them up until, of course, the weather got too cold.
Right.
Yeah. Now I've been working for HireQuest.
Okay. I mean, at least you staying active. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, I condole you 100%, brother. Um, and to come from where you was at to where you are right now, I mean, it's amazing. Just think 6 more months from now. You know what I mean? Or 18 months. And it just keeps getting better and better. You just gotta weather the storm because not every day is gonna be good, and you're gonna have challenges that come. You know what I mean? Because not everybody's on the same frequency, and you always got to deal with people. You know what I mean? But if you stay on the right frequency, you can handle all these people and
Yeah.
they situations.
Yeah, I need to learn to bite my tongue sometimes. That's what got me kicked out of CTE.
Right.
I was arguing with somebody and couldn't let something go.
Yeah.
Um,
They say your ego is not your amigo.
but God still looked out for me because I made the right decision to go to CR.
Right.
I wanted to come back to Bismarck too, so
Right.
yeah, I felt like I was on a deserted island in
You was
Washburn.
missing her.
Her among everything else.
Yeah, she put that spell on you. You know what I mean? That time she was tickling you on the foot with that feather, that's when it happened.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest blessings that God has given me is allowed to me and her to reconcile our differences and um, have a second chance.
Yeah.
Um,
I love what y'all doing. You know what I mean?
yeah, because we were in addiction together too.
You want to be an usher at my wedding? I had you in a little brown bronze suit at the door just seating people. You know what I mean? That boy have a come up on like on Dumb and Dumber with the little tear in the back.
That's crazy to say that because my grandparents, when they were still alive, they had their 50th anniversary in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
and they had me. They paid me a dime. Back then, 10 cents was a lot more money than it is now.
Man, you older than dirt.
Work, you know what?
Dime bag.
No, but like this is back.
This
This
was 1960.
no, this was in the 80s.
Okay.
But they had a big wedding. Now they gave me a dime for every person that signed their
Their book.
book
Yeah.
saying that they were there.
I'd have been making up names. Look, just signing a different hand, right?
But my grandparents did that because they knew that if they did, something was gonna get broke, set on fire. You never know with me. You know, I was bad as a kid. I couldn't sit still.
Right.
I was always into something.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Um. So, well, first of all, on behalf of Tied for Second Sober Living and New Freedom Center, got you a shirt. On behalf of Sober Talk, I got you a fresh off the press shirt. That's for you.
I
But
appreciate it.
I really like that shirt you got on right there.
Yeah, me too. This is the first one she did.
Yeah, that's fly. I mean,
She actually has a skirt that matches it too.
she got me wanting to buy my own sewing machine. Yeah.
Um, yeah, this the own a sewing machine, but it's too scared to use it.
Who,
It's
her?
yeah,
She did it by hand?
no.
Oh,
Um, I acquired a 1957 Singer
it
sewing
might have been that
machine,
one that I sold.
and she's worried about using it because it's old.
Oh, because when I'm old foot pedal,
No, no, it doesn't have a foot pedal.
but it's black. I
Yeah,
got the gold rating. I'm telling you, man, I stole that and pawned it to the pawn shop in Mandan about 9 years ago. I did. I ain't gonna lie.
hey, right now she doesn't want to use it because she's afraid that she's gonna.
You ain't get it from a big fat redhead dude from the Rossovation, huh?
No, actually, I was hired to go clean out a house that had been.
They got a lot of antiques in North Dakota.
It was a house that went into foreclosure,
Yeah.
and it was full of stuff everywhere. And they were like, if you find something you want to keep it, keep it. We're throwing it away anyways.
Mhm.
And when I seen it, I videoed it real quick, showed it to her, and she was like, "Oh my God!" So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep this."
Mhm.
But yeah, need to quit smoking
Yeah.
cigarette.
That's one thing I thank God for, brother. Because I smoked since I was 9 years old. And I smoked in treatment, but when I got to sober living, God took that away from me. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, man, it makes life so much better.
Yeah, I know. I've been wheezing, so
Even my fiance, she I don't know how long she been
it
not
has.
smoking. I didn't think she was gonna ever stop. She used to be coughing and hacking. And August would be my son would be right there. He'd be like, "That's bad for me." He'll catch him slipping too. He'd be like, "Damn," you know what I mean? And I love him to death. It's so amazing getting to be able to be a father. You know what I mean? Because I missed a lot of that with my daughter, but with my son, um, is one of the greatest gifts you could ever, you know what I mean, give him and he can give me. And but yeah, she used that Chantix. You know what I mean? It's get it from the doctor, but it gave her crazy dreams. But she started taking it instead of whole thing, because she'd wake up and be like, I was dreaming this and that. I'm like, I'm about to start writing these small chronicles. we gonna get paid off these dreams. but but yeah, she took it for a while and she was like, I gotta stop taking it. I'm having some crazy dreams. She wake up looking at me all crazy. I'm like, I'm in peace. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for this. What do you call it? A vortex to come.
Yeah, the winter vortex about to hit this week.
Okay, well, I'll probably quit smoking cigarettes then because I'm
Yeah.
not going outside for that, and I can't smoke in the
Right,
house.
right. You gotta stay active. It's a process to stop smoking cigarettes. But you can do it though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I did it once before when I was in New Orleans. I made the mistake though when I left there. As soon as I got on the bus, I went and bought cigarettes. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. It's a habit. You know what I mean? But if you start riding bike doing long runs, you know what I mean? You're gonna want to. I mean, you're gonna be coughing. You're gonna want to quit smoking. But some people smoke forever and stay sober.
It's too cold to ride a bicycle now.
It's totally up. It's totally up to you. You know what I mean? But I'm just glad that you're sober and saved, brother. You know
Me
what I
too.
mean? Um, what was the longest you ever stood up on dope?
Probably 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Man,
And then power nap and be right back at it.
I'm glad you're still alive.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Now you get to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because I know it was one of the big things for me. I was like, man, I got a little routine going. I go to sleep at 10, like when I was in the sober living. Go to sleep at 10. I wake up at 5:45 without an alarm clock. You know what I mean?
Me
Every day.
too.
Every day.
I'm waking up at 4:30 every morning, but because I take forever to get ready.
Yeah. What
So
you be combing your little goatee in the mirror and stuff?
no, no, I get up, drink coffee, smoke cigarettes, use the bathroom, take a shower, make my lunch,
Yeah.
aggravate her a little while.
Yeah. Do you have like a routine besides that? Do you do any prayer or meditate?
Yeah, I like to pray, or I call it talking to God
Yeah.
on my way to walk the higher quest.
Yeah.
Because I'm by myself, you know, and I try to reflect on things that have been going on, and I listen to a little bit of music or instrumentals and
Hmm.
walk.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as you just ain't taking them 9 hour walks no more.
No, no, we're not doing that no more. Walking to Mandan and back, and
Yeah.
blisters on my feet because I've been walking for four
Just
days
stupid.
straight.
And always missing something. You either got a charger with no phone, a phone with no charger. You got one match and it won't light. You know what I mean? And just it's something always something. It's just always some kind of stupid kid. It's just
Or it's, hey, I need you to take me back over here by this dumpster. I think I dropped my glasses there. Oh, there's my phone too.
yeah, just a bunch of dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Um, Celebrate recovery. You go every week.
Yeah, for the most part, that might be a week or a time here or there that we miss. That I'm also involved with H&I NA.
Okay.
I also have the privilege of going back into Hartview.
Well, so you go to Harvard and speak
I
and
haven't
bring a
been,
meeting.
I haven't just briefly on certain topics I've been allowed to speak. I haven't been allowed to speak yet because the clean time that they asked for is 6 months. I am getting close though.
Right.
Um, I have been working the steps, but slowly. Um, it's kind of crazy because I haven't got past step one yet, but
Mhm.
I've I it's not that I feel like I got this thing beat. I'm consciously aware that this is something that I'm probably going to be fighting for the rest of my life.
Right.
Um, with that in mind, I look at the time that I have with the rest of my life and I say, you know what? I'm gonna take things slow. I'm not gonna leave no stone unturned.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure that when I go through the steps that I do them right.
Right.
You
Well.
know, I do have a sponsor.
Right.
We're supposed to, matter of fact, get together tomorrow.
Well, that's what's up. Whoever you his sponsor, uh, I believe you're already past step one because the day you went to treatment and you said you had enough, you already knew you was powerless and unmanageable.
Well, I mean, on the step
Yeah,
work.
yep. But you already had gave it up to God, and you already was convinced that only God or Creator.
To restore me back to sanity.
Yeah. And so you already did one, two, and three, listening to your testimony, listening to your experience, strength, and hope. You know what I mean? And so I had to realize that like the day that I walked from the Motel 6 in the blizzard with the garbage bag to New Freedom Center, I already had this step one, two, and three. And I didn't even know what step one, two, and three was. You know what I mean? And so um, I understand what you're saying, but we also got this saying, don't rest on your laurels, my brother. You know what I mean? And so if it don't work out with that guy, I mean, hit me up. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm gonna be hard on you though. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta be like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I got, well, she's kind
I'm gonna
of
show up like
she's hard on me too. Like, hey, listen,
it's boot camp. You
listen.
know what I mean?
She prints papers up and's like, here, start doing this.
Right.
Oh no, I want you to write. Put the golf game down because I'm always playing golf on my phone.
Well, at least you ain't texting old friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At least-
but that's something I did too. While I was in Washburn, I got a new phone,
Mhm.
and when I got the new phone, I got a new number. And instead of transferring all my contacts to one phone to the other, I put them in separately.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't have those people calling me no more.
Mhm.
The downside is I had got my same Facebook that I've had since Facebook started.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of people on there too
Mhm.
that like the ding and bing and, try to call me on video time. And I ignore that a lot.
Right.
She knows I only check in on Facebook every once in a while. There's certain people that I respond to.
Right. That's good. Um, if you had any words of wisdom to somebody out there that ain't sober and they was pretty much in the same position as you were, or they sober and thinking about not being sober, if you had any words of wisdom to that, to anybody out there listening, what would you say?
There is help. Uh, Nobody's hopeless. You might feel that way, but there is hope. Like there are programs, there are things available to help you with that. Go anywhere, Native Inc., Heartview, anywhere. I mean, like it's endless. There's opportunity for them to stop using. They just gotta want it. Your heart's will and want and desire to want to be sober and to live clean, you know, has to be in the right place for that. Like, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And like my heart's will and want to change and the help of God is what has gotten me on this path. And I haven't looked back. Like, I don't think about it and I'm grateful and I'm blessed that in such a short period of time that it's not like it was where it was gnawing at me every day. Oh, I gotta go get high, I gotta go high. I don't even think about it anymore,
Right. That's good.
you know? And but yeah, there is hope, man. Cause if I can do it, anybody could do it.
Yeah, man, say that one more time.
If I could do it, anybody could do it.
Same for me. If I could do it, I was one of them people they said was a lost case. You know what I mean?
Me too.
They didn't wash their hands on me. I was can't get right. Yeah.
Hey, my cousin just told me that.
What is
She called me and one of my ex-girlfriends from years ago. He would call me can't get right and called her won't get right. So have you got right? And I was like, yeah. But I was so bad, man. You see, like Cat Williams said, you see me one or two ways, like this or like this on the bicycle, getting somewhere up for days, man. Ride a bicycle for 5 days straight.
Yeah, you probably got some killer calf muscle. Yeah. That's what we're gonna call him. Super calf. Any shout outs?
Um, as far as to Heartview,
I mean anybody. It could be
Native
an
Inc.
organization.
Yeah, Heartview, Native Inc. Uh, Leah Kwong, my care coordinator in the beginning. Unfortunately, she's not my care coordinator no more.
Mhm.
Uh, she resigned from Seeds of Eden because they lost their contract through recovery. Bless Builders. I got a bed there next week.
New
Um,
beginning.
yeah. I'm court ordered, so I'm going to do that. Even though I'm in a good situation, I still have to go take care of what I got to take care of for probation.
Right.
Um, I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for my girlfriend, especially she was probably, yeah, the first one that was really on to me about treatment and praying for me when I didn't know it.
Mhm.
I mean, somebody was looking out for me because
What about the man that gave y'all a place to live?
Yeah, him too. I just didn't want to mention his name,
Yeah, you
you
don't
know.
have to. Just him.
Um, yeah, he knows who he is. I'm just some things I just don't want to say, you know. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to put people's business out there. Or, oh, he's doing this and doing that.
No, you ain't gotta say his
Yeah,
name. You just said the man.
he knows that I'm more than grateful for him because he's also allowing while I'm in sober living, I can still come and go there. She'll still be there. You know, that's our safe haven.
Right.
You know,
It's always good. Peace of mind is what it's all about.
God moved on his heart to allow to open his doors to us, man. And the amazing thing was like right after we got there, like he went on vacation for 10 days out of the country. And we didn't flood or burn the place down. But no, we were respectful. We didn't have nobody over. I helped look after his dog a little bit,
Right.
you know. Um, so I'm very, very, very grateful to him, man.
Right. Well, amen to that. And thank you for helping this young man and this wonderful woman. Um, where do you see yourself in a year from now?
In a year from
Do
now,
you have any goals, any dreams? You want to be a professional golf player? Like
no,
any old hobbies that you used to do that you kind of like still in your dreams?
yeah, music.
Music.
Um,
I seen you had the opportunity to do a song on New Year's Eve.
yeah,
Yeah, how did that feel?
uh, that felt good.
Yeah,
I actually cried about it,
yeah,
but not in a bad way.
yeah,
Just grateful.
yeah.
Um, thankful to God to open up doors like that for the opportunity to even present itself. Because it's something I want to do. I like to get into preaching too.
Hmm.
One of these days.
Yeah. You preaching right now. For real. I actually had the opportunity to go preach two sermons at a relevant life church in Fargo. And I thought I was just kind of like just going there, and it was like,
Yeah.
nah, you gonna preach. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? But I mean, if you watch it, it went good. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how like somebody told me something early in my sobriety when you get nervous. You know what I mean? Like, because I've interviewed like hundreds of people. You know what I mean? And I've spoken. I don't know, I lost count. You know what I mean? There's so many different functions and organizations, and I I used to get nervous. You know what I mean? Like, I might have spoke at the same place many times.
Like I am right now.
Yeah, but and I have a lot of people that get in. They be nervous. They be like, they be like, I'm nervous. I'm like, I can't even tell. You know what I mean? But I used to be like that. You know, it's the repetition. You keep doing stuff. But the way that I learned how to like let God flow and let Him run through the show is pray, but also say out loud after you, God. You know what I mean? Like I might be walking up on a stage in a crowd of 500 people. You know what I mean? And and I say that after you, God. And when I let God flow first and run the show, it always works out.
Yeah, I would definitely would be grateful if God allows me to use my music to reach people who have been through the same struggle
Hmm.
and allow me to be his voice,
Hmm.
you know.
Well, I think you got every opportunity, my brother. You got every opportunity. More to come. God, if you ain't dead, God ain't done with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Everything we've been through that's been bad, we survived. You know, even though, people be like, oh, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. Well, you know what? You're going to because the last time you said you couldn't do it no more and you're still here,
Right,
we're going to get through it. I tell her that all the time. Rain, hail, sleet, or snow, hell or high water. One day at a time, we're going to get through it.
right,
Good, bad, ugly, it don't matter. As long as we got each other, we're going to keep pressing forward,
right,
putting our faith in God and keep moving forward. We're going to, whatever problems arise, whatever disagreements we have, we're going to work them out and keep going forward.
hmm Well, amen to that, brother. Well, I'm proud of you. Thanks for
you.
coming.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. We had at Recovery Reinvent, we got to talk about a few things, but I was glad that you was able to come tonight, and we can do a little one-on-one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I love you, T. Cuz. I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Keep doing your thing. Don't make me come looking for you. You know what I mean? And and thanks to this lovely lady for keeping you in line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because every great man, usually got a great woman behind him. You know what I mean? And that's a fact. Keep him in line. You know what I mean? Kick him when he needs to be kicked. But so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Uh, my man Sean, how you say your last name?
Pietrzak.
Pietrzak. I thought that was the name of his beat company or something. Pietraks. You know what I mean? On SoundCloud. But I want to thank you for coming, brother. My man Lil Sean. I call him Lil Sean the rapper or Chicas, man. You know what I mean? You got to have a nickname around here these days. But I'm proud of you, brother. Keep doing your thing and keep being a light in the community. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. A lot of great opportunities and events coming up. Stay tuned. If anybody got a friend request from me today or recently or anytime, I only got one Facebook page, so it ain't me. So it's a scam. Report them or whoever, or accept them, and I don't know, be their friend, but it ain't me. It's only one Brothers Brandon, and there's only one Sober Talk. And so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And just remember, if you can't stay sober, catch your Uber. Shout out to Tides for Second, Sober Living, New Freedom Center. Shout out to Resurrection Tattoo and Tattoo Supplies and Ink, where you can get hooked up and not effed up. Shout out to everybody in the community that's doing great things and being lights and making a movement in North Dakota and in the United States and the world. But in the words of my great grand sponsor, Jack Hype, if nobody told you yet, we love you, baby. Eat some chicken grease. Thank you, brother.
Sober Talk with Brother
My
Brandon,
bad.
the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend!